hand sanitizer and the
Thanks
wipes
for lunch.
are
Okay,
effective.
I'll call this meeting to order. We will need to do a roll call for who's present. We have WebEx.
We do have WebEx, and I don't see anybody on it at the time.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
First time it happened. First time it happened. True. No,
All right, roll call. Dave Torres.
Here.
Areta Zanecki. Areta Zanecki. Kendra Pottinger. Doug Traeger.
You.
Joe Wiesack.
Yes.
Mike Casa.
Present.
Randy Freeman.
present.
All counted. Thank you.
Okay, has everybody had the opportunity to see the minutes from the previous meeting? If so, is there a motion on the floor, Mr. Woodsack? Is there a second to that motion?
Mr.
Have a
Lawrence.
second?
Thank you.
You got the names?
Yep.
Okay. Any discussion on those minutes? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, we will, there's no citizen comment that I'm aware of. So I'll now turn the meeting over to our new chairman of the floor, Fred.
Thank you. First and foremost, thanks for everybody who may have voted for me, or who maybe didn't voice their displeasure about me, however you want to look at it. But anyway, going through and I want to take some time too to thank Rich for what he's done for the last 2, maybe 3 years with the committee. And I'm looking forward to filling his shoes and maybe filling them out a little bit larger, hopefully. With that being said, we're going to old business. And Jim, do you want to discuss this maybe later under the results of the heat pole survey?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, that's fine.
So we're gonna skim over old business right now, which is the space heater policy. And we'll go right down into new business. Well, let's just go ahead and discuss it now. We'll kind of go out of order a little bit on the agenda, but we have had discussions about usage of space heaters and electric blankets in the offices. And Jim went ahead and sent out a survey on what offices are hot, what offices are cold, and he's got the results back, and I'll just turn it over and let you.
Oh, I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, they're,
Oh,
sorry.
So I think that this was really an effort to try to identify a better solution in space heaters and stuff. And a lot of this has already been sent to Pop, so he could check on them. He was gonna take the meter around and check all the vents and whatever, and see if he could adjust anything or make some changes in the venting system. And I sent that to him twice. This is, I think, the most recent. I did get a submission this morning, but this may even be on here. But a lot of this was pretty good feedback. And it's kind of funny, some people saying that it's way too hot in their office, and some people saying it's way too cold, you know, and at different times of the year. So really, I think that this is just a good example of collective information that maybe Bob can do something with. And I think that's the best analysis of where we're at now.
Anybody have any questions or comments about that?
I didn't edit anything. I put it in basically exactly everything that the person said about their office, so I would have enough information. But this is really to facilitate maintenance and kind of streamline their efforts. People have noticed swings in temperature changes and whatever, and try to make a better decision about electric blankets and space heaters and everything like that in the future. Go ahead.
I don't know if this is out of line but like talking about, like I was talking to you about the jail. The vents, the ductwork and all that, is it part of an efficiency problem? I mean, as far as, you know, when have these been done over here?
Yeah.
I
that's
mean, you
another-
know, as part of efficiency and all that, I mean, that could be a problem with, you know, supply and return and all
Yeah,
that.
and Bob pointed out that there might be one feed now feeding 5 offices where it was only originally intended
Where they
to
kept
feed
tapping
one.
onto it, right, I get that.
You know, and that problem may exist further than we know, but he was gonna try to take this information and do some work with the blueprints and try to figure out. Now, really, he's not here today, but really, I'm hoping that he can have something for us or use this and that information as a tool to move on and try to correct some of these issues. Because, you know, we really don't want people sitting there freezing to death with their hands and toes are numb. Go ahead.
Dave?
Do you mind if I work with Bob on county property on these issues?
No, we'll take any help we can get.
Great thing.
You got issues on the jail?
Yes,
Is Bob aware?
oh, yeah, yeah, and I was just briefing with him, and I just gave him a disc today with some stuff on it,
All
a
right.
bunch of pictures and that, so. It's an issue, and I believe it's an issue throughout the whole complex, I mean,
Sure.
Mark pointed out that some of the jail feeds and returns are completely blocked.
yeah, like we have an outbreak in the jail, obviously. So the trustees were moved out of there while I was in there doing some stuff, and I looked up and the 2 returns are completely clogged. So the maintenance guy comes in there and I'm already taking pictures, you know. And he gets an air hose and he blows it, which is fine, but you're blowing, half of it's going up in and half of it's coming down.
Right.
We've got a problem. I mean, this looks like this here, what's it look like in a ductwork going back?
And how many positive cases do we have in the jail now, Mark?
Well, we don't know. We're probably 19, 20, but everyone was tested today. Inmates and then deputies will be tested starting this afternoon and into
What's the
tomorrow.
population currently?
160 inmates somewhere, give or take.
20%.
So, well, it'll be more.
It'll be more, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a problem. I mean, I think it's something that needs to be addressed. And,
We're
you
working-
know, as far as heat and cold and this and that, I have a little bit of construction background. So, I mean, there's companies that will come out and balance, you know, with dampeners and that to make sure that one place ain't just getting all the heat and this place over here is getting nothing. I mean, they put little things with dial indicators where they can dampener and make sure it's an even flow throughout your facility.
We had to do that in my office. My office, you can hang meat in the summertime, and you can boil water in the wintertime, because I'm right off I'm the first office off. And Connie's at the end, which is where the
It's getting nothing.
thermostat is. Her office is cold, so we tried putting something up so that we could restrict some of the air coming out of mine and force it down to her way. So you're 100% right, there's things that can be done.
And that's a newer building in
Yeah.
comparison to the old. Go ahead.
We have an engineer working on the issues right now.
Yeah, yeah, I know we talked about.
There's another project tying into this.
And I'm not an HVAC guy by any means, but it's only common sense that if you got a place hot and cold, you're gonna have to do something with the ductwork and start restricting and or opening it up. But also this issue of having stuff, they need to be cleaned out, because that's not only a
Yeah,
problem
if
with
it's plumbing
restricting
and
the
not working, well,
air.
he was
You're
blowing
breeding
them out, cleaning them,
bacterias
but
and,
are you at the end of the day going to the filter system and making sure that's, because it's gotta go somewhere.
right. We
Didn't
need
get held
to
up
make
in there,
sure
I mean.
that stuff's clean, because that's just hard.
The inmates have been
Other
filing a lot of
problems.
grievances on it, and especially with the pandemic and the cleaning and all that, they're really voicing their opinions on all that.
I've got another thought on some of that too, is that some of this cost we could defray with COVID, the care payments, you know, that we were getting, that we might want to submit. You know, it's just a thought of trying to fund it too. I mean, I know that's the last thing to think about, but
Use it as a,
utilize some of that, you know, or ask for more, you know, because that is a cost because of that, you know.
Dave, are you buildings and grounds?
David, we talked about putting, or hiring somebody to come in and just look at it as a consultant, a subject matter expert to come in and evaluate what this is. Are we at that point yet, or?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right, well then, maybe we're beating a dead horse here, and looks like we got the ball started, and that's what we need to
I
do.
will add this so you don't get your hopes up too bad.
What's that?
It's not budgeted.
Well, we're gonna have
We've
to,
applied for the second wave of cures. We don't know if that money's coming,
okay.
but that's where we are gonna find financing to move forward on these issues.
Well, we'll have to look around and find it somewhere, because this is not an issue that we need to just kick off to the side.
It's
and kick it down the road. It's gotta be
everybody's
fixed.
fault.
It's very important.
It's all about health, I mean, it's
Right.
fair.
We agree. We're working on it.
But we still gotta figure out how to fund it.
Right,
Right.
no, absolutely, I agree.
Exactly. Okay, Fred, sorry.
No problem, good discussion. 2020 fire drill update. As you guys are aware, we usually do a fire drill in October of every year. We had some scheduling issues where we couldn't get it done in October, it got pushed back to November. In November, the day that we were supposed to do it, which is kind of my luck, it was supposed to be freezing rain and I wasn't safe with having it, considering we got people at downtown that have to go down the fire escape. So we opted to postpone the fire drill again. Probably not gonna happen now until next October, but what we did in its place was we did verify that the alarm functions. Ironically, when Julie and Melissa and I were sending emails back and forth about this, I guess the downtown fire alarm had gone off that day. So when I was talking to Bob Kaminsky about it, he said, well, I know the downtown works because I got a fire alarm today on it. So we actually met yesterday, at 7:15 in the morning, and we set the alarm off in this complex to verify that the alarm is gonna ring at the alarm company, which it did. We did not do an evacuation drill. Obviously, there were probably only 15 people at the most in the building at the time, and there was no need to actually do it. As I look at the NFPA fire code, there is really in Illinois no requirement that we have to do an evacuation drill, but we do have to check the fire alarm to make sure it works. And so we've met that requirement by doing what we did yesterday. Questions on that? Yes, sir.
How about our insurance company, are they okay with it? I mean, I'm wondering if they would require something like that.
Melissa's involved with insurance and
You know what I'm saying, if it was a problem, I mean, I don't know if it would be, but sometimes insurance companies can be
First
stupid.
hand on that.
Yeah, I'd probably have to ask Rob Fitzgerald, that's not my
okay,
realm, but I could ask.
It's just a thought,
no problem. Like I say, OSHA-wise, it's not a requirement, so I don't know that insurance would make you do it, but you're right, they very well could. So we'll look into that. Last meeting that we had, I believe it was the last meeting, which was November 10th, I think. We had a tornado come through the county shortly after this meeting. We sent out the alert. Has anybody received any feedback on the alert? Any feedback on the response to your,
I got a comment.
uh-huh,
It was like 20 minutes after the storm went through that I finally got your text.
I got mine.
that
Just a
went,
warning, my radar.
I was in
weather
Oglesby,
radio went
I
off
was in
before
Oglesby
it's
at the
come
time.
through.
The sirens had already gone off, the sirens had,
well, now keep in mind though, Oglesby sounded before a tornado warning was ever issued.
I don't know, that's why I'm saying.
They did. And that's something that Connie and I are looking at. Oglesby, Peru, and Spring Valley, which is in our county, they all sounded their tornado sirens for wind. And then when the tornado, warning went off, which our procedures are when the tornado warning goes off,
All right,
is when we send the alert.
okay.
And I know I got it instantly, did you?
I got it.
That explains
So,
what I thought it was there.
no, I bet you anything, David, I don't know. I can tell you what time to set it off. But, we set it off right
Yeah, it was at, it wasn't late, that's probably when I got.
Okay, so they sounded their sirens before the actual tornado warning came across, and that's why you had that disparity in time.
Yep.
Karen?
My question is, it went off 420. So I have employees that said, oh, I'm just gonna go home. Do we have anything with that as far as the department has to say, okay, go, we keep them here? I mean, some of them felt like they just wanted to go home. They didn't, obviously didn't care.
I would think you have the right to say someone can leave early or not, if their scheduled, end time is 4:30.
And some did. Some just went in their, got in their cars and went home instead of going downstairs.
I'm not a lawyer. I don't think we have the right to say, no, you can't go home. If they get hurt, if they get injured after they leave, when we've provided shelter for them, safety, I don't know how that would be looked upon. But
That was my question. Do we have any?
I will tell you, in a previous lifetime for me, if a tornado went off and we went to shelter and somebody in that facility said, no, I'm not going to shelter, there was nothing we could do.
You're talking about member of the public though?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
It was, yeah.
You left the sheriff in your office.
So.
my previous life was the same way. We could not do anything with public. If they wanted to leave, they were allowed to leave.
Yes.
I got some concerns about employees leaving before their scheduled time and going out in a possible tornado and getting hurt. That's gonna come back on us. And the first thing I'm thinking of is the safety of the employee. I think the safe thing for them is to stay put and the shelter. That's my feeling. But the second issue on that is we're letting them go out into a possible, they're going out and getting a car and there could be a tornado come and take them, they're gone. I don't think that's the safest method. Now with the public, if there's public in place because of the safety concerns, but I don't think that can hold them. But I think we can have a responsibility to hold our employees until an all clear is given. For the safety, for their benefit, for their safety.
Some of my girls, they said, they were looking at their phones, their watch, and they said, oh, I'm going a different way, I'm okay. So.
Man, I don't know. I'm not,
Tell that.
all I'm thinking is from my heart and the safety of the employees.
Tell that to the nursing home when the tornado came right down on top of them. You don't know where that tornado's gonna come down at.
A tornado could jump unbelievable amount and touch down here and be a quarter mile away and retouch.
You think I should send something to the state's attorney and?
I hate this to be a legal thing because it's really the safety of the employees that we're
It's the safety
concerned
of the
about.
employees, but it's also their right. If they choose they want to leave to work early, they can leave
Well,
work early,
I mean,
right?
ultimately it'll fall down on the legal side, I'm sure, but I don't want it to be a legal issue. I want it to be a safety issue.
Safety wise, all we can do is tell the employee, for your safety, we want you to go to the basement.
And they are due to stay, I mean, I guess if they put in leave time, they can leave anytime they want. Yeah, Don, you're gonna be the one that's ultimately gonna be the jack seat on this, so.
Well, and I think the problem was because it came at 4:20. and they were leaving at
I understand that, the timing.
I would think in that situation, I would think Karen or any department head would have the right to say, you need a shelter in place, you go to the basement. At 4:30 when you're off, then they have a choice.
There you
And that's my first opinion, that while they're on we're paying them, that we should hold them, and for their safety's sake.
So what happens if it happens at 1 o'clock in the afternoon?
What's that?
What happens if it happens at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Karen's advised them what she'd like them to do, shelter a place, go downstairs, and they say, well, I'm sorry, I'm going home.
Taking the afternoon nap.
Then they go home.
Then they need to put in a leave request.
Exactly, then they go home. And she just needs to.
Once they put in a leave
They're not gonna
request,
say-
they're on their own risk.
I think the premise is the same.
You're gonna have to
If it comes 4:30, then they're it's up to them.
Right, they have their choice after.
It's up to them at 1 o'clock too.
But while they're on
It's up to
our
them at 1
time,
o'clock,
I
too.
think
She
it's
just
our
has to advise them that they're
responsibility
not gonna get paid.
to
Well,
hold them.
So they should have at least gone to the shelter at least till 4:30.
Yeah,
And then at 4:30, they have the right to do whatever.
right.
We're paying overtime.
Good question.
Okay, it was clear as mud on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Opinion,
1 o'clock,
You know,
based on the same premise of what I said at 20 after 4. Is that what you meant by it?
No, I mean, if it had, I got it at 20 after 4, I think it's a little bit easier. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you've told people, we need a shelter, we need to go downstairs, we need a shelter in place, and they say, well, I'm sorry, Karen, I'm going home. There's nothing she can do to prevent that. She's just gonna have to advise them, well, if you go home, just be advised that we won't pay you from 1 o'clock till the rest of the day.
They'll
That's all you can do.
they'll turn in a leave request.
That's fine, that's all you can do.
If they wanna leave, they put in a leave request, and they can do whatever they want.
They can deny it as well.
Okay,
I
John?
think if we do make them stay, either way, we're liable. Whether we let them go and they get hurt, or God forbid that the tornado hits the building, you're still liable.
Well,
And I
we're
agree with
liable
you.
if they're in the
I'd
building,
like to see them
absolutely.
stay as well, but I don't think we can make them. And I think we should have a legal determination. Maybe we should ask the attorney, to let them make a decision on how we should react to that.
Can't hold it against
You know,
Because I don't believe you can, it's free will. You do what you
I'll
want.
talk to the attorney.
Just a comment on that too. I know where safety meets legal is workers' comp claims, right?
Right.
And there's been, I've studied that for a long time, and there's a history of so many interesting claims coming across and how they get approved and not based on what the employee was doing. You know, the employer sent him to do something, he took a detour, did some personal business, and then went and did what the employer wanted, but he got hurt in the process. You know, and it wasn't still covered. So I really think there is a good legal argument there to be had to set some kind of structured mandate as to what we expect from employees to follow that. But I think you're right. As long as they're on our time, they should be here. But it's a great discussion.
Karen?
Well, it could be too, that the alarm goes off, they make the choice to leave, they could be walking out the back door in the parking lot and get hit.
That's right.
You know,
That's
then who's
one of the things.
responsible? They were leaving, they didn't go where we wanted them to.
Parking lots are big issues at workers' comp. They're leaving the ground.
Very much so.
Interesting.
We'll get an opinion from
I'll look
the
into
attorney.
it, just,
Okay,
you know,
Yes, ma'am.
interesting.
okay? All right, Brad.
That leaves us to the safety initiative, or safety incentive.
Safety incentives. As you know, we do a quarterly drawing that of names who have completed the safety incentive safe personnel modules. In September, we had 228 employees complete the hazard communication. In October, we had 221 complete the fire extinguisher use and fire protection module. And in November, we had 151 employees complete the work injury prevention module.
Yeah. Guess what we run.
Just kidding.
That brings us over to Jen, with work comp stuff.
Okay, Julie.
You
Or, sorry.
know, I'm happy to say,
This is an easy one.
yeah, we are 2 months without an injury. Last month, I couldn't remember, there was one injury, but the very last one was a sheriff's deputy, and a traffic accident, hit a deer, hurt his thumb and neck. That was October 2nd. Since that time, no injuries in LaSalle County. So, you know, I think that, I don't know, I think that speaks volumes to the fact that people are paying attention to what's going on around them and working safely. I will comment a little further. I had an opportunity last month to speak to the highway department. They got their snow routes. They had all the drivers together in one room. They did a little safety day, and I spoke to them. They're really on the decline. So I wanted to compliment them and talk to them a little bit about continuing on and even having a better year next year. But I really think that, you know, we're doing great. lately, and I want to say, you know, a lot of the people here in LaSalle County working are the essential workers, you know, so we can't really say it's a pandemic and things are down, you know, to some degree that's true, but really.
That we're in financially, anything we can do to reduce costs is gonna benefit. Shut it off. No. But anyway,
Glad you weren't driving there, Randy.
yeah. I'd have thrown it out the window. Lose my train. But anyway, anywhere we can save money is gonna help in the pressure of keeping, you know,
We do-
potential
we
for
do
raises or people employed.
We do still offer, we had quite a few employees go through it in February of this year already, so.
I don't know what else I gotta do to turn the ringer off. Carry on, anything else? All right,
We go to employee open floor then.
okay. Open floor. Bring us your ideas, complaints, suggestions. Mr. Traeger.
This is really concerning the safety of the public rather than the employees. I was wondering if maybe Fred or Jim could give me a little help on trying to get some signs on Deep Bend Road down here. To be aware of the deer. You know, it doesn't have to be the normal deer sign, although that'd be fine. But one on each end there of that, just past where the barge company is there, and then maybe just right around the curve coming from the west would be nice.
On Deep Bennett?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's county highway.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say,
I'll
maybe-
get with county highway and see what they can.
I would appreciate it, because I have,
Asking why we put deer signs across there.
and
That's
we
a
can
poor place
say,
to have our deers crossing.
and we can say we've had one of our county board members hit several deer on that road.
Did it work fine.
That's you, Dave?
Is there,
Really?
When I was working in Marseilles,
is there a specific spot where it's worse or?
no, there's all random.
Not, the worst spot that I know of, because people have told me, and that's in my district, is right around that first curve going west.
Okay.
Just past where the barge,
Terminal is.
yeah, they're laying there between the canal and the road after they've been hit.
Right at the edge of-
Do we
There's
have
a bunch
any
of-
signage up at all?
No.
No signage?
So I think it'd just be helpful, you know, and we're at least doing our part.
There's a nice herb by the nursing home too.
I'm sure Don would be very receptive to, work with-
I'm on that committee, I'll make sure I mention something.
yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Karen,
I know this
Yes.
is common sense, but I have been brought to my attention that if one of my employees likes to like speed through here in the parking lot.
The co-security officer and Donna and someone else. But she was saying, you know, she didn't trespass back there by the jail because the signs are on the brick. So she says, I didn't go past the signs, but she was recording, took her phone and was holding it up in there. You know, we got inmates locked down in some of these cells and she was recording, you know. I don't know about getting the signs. I don't know if anything's been brought up since this or if any of you guys are aware of it.
Does the sheriff aware of it?
I believe they're all aware of it.
Dave?
Sheriff approached county property, we approved him putting two big signs up,
Too big, no trespassing?
restricted.
Sir, you know, you're breaking your own oath and it just, she's looking for, I think she's looking for money.
I know when she came into our office with videotape and everything, which, you know, we didn't let her go back in. But we told her no videotape, but the thing that concerned me about her is when she left the main building, she was out there videotaping everybody's license plate.
And going in bid, like all the squad vehicles and stuff at like Grundy County, I noticed she's like, kept going back to them and looking in there. I mean, for what reasons, I have no idea, other than attention or, you know. But I just knew that it was a problem up here because we have inmates locked down and she said it on the video. Oh, well, if you want to see your loved one or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, all you gotta do is walk up to the window because you're not trespassing. So,
Maybe we ought to put something as a board up, as you come into the property, that there's no videotaping allowed, or no video recording, or we could put if we could.
There is a sign, you're not
We
supposed to
got
be
those
yourself.
signs in
those signs were all over on the east side over here.
But do we have them with any teeth, you know, with threatening arrest? Is there any way we could put teeth into it?
Because she
That's the only
says,
way you're gonna stop it.
like the jail lobby, like Ottawa PD lobby, she says this is a public lobby, you can't do anything to me. I can do whatever I want here because this is public. Well, it is to an extent, but
I don't
we locked
think
the
we
jail
allow,
lobby, it's public. It's
the
locked right
courtrooms
now.
don't allow recording, they have to ask the judge for permission to do the recording, so I don't see why it wouldn't fall under the whole, we couldn't make it fall under the whole county complex, that you can't record without written permission.
Right, because I know down at the one,
We have to
you
do
cannot
by
take cell
ordinance
phones in
or-
because of the courtrooms. But then she comes over here, and then she comes right in with it, and she's in all the offices over here.
Well, I guess my opinion on that is, if you're in a public place, that's kind of hard, but if there's sensitive materials or things that could be taken and harmful to the county, then they should be able to take or record it. But if it's in a public place, there's nothing that can be deemed harmful or sensitive, I don't think you really can start censoring people from taping it. That's my opinion. Mike?
Your opinion is very well thought out of. Now, I've got to tell you what happened at county property when the sheriff came up and asked, checking with the attorneys, said, please give us the opportunity in the sheriff's department to notify the public. And all that does is gives a little bit more meat in case the person from the public comes into the facility, they have been notified through signage. That's all this is all about. So all this other stuff that we talk, the probablys, and my opinion, it's wonderful that we do discuss this stuff because it brings out the conversation that we need to protect our employees again. So that's where we're at. He was going to work with Don down at the highway department to get, I think, 2 signs, or we gave the permission such as necessary to work, because he is in charge of security here on premise.
Right. And that's who we should turn over.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on that issue?
Yeah, we have a sign that says, no cell phones down here at this door.
At the door,
For the jury.
for jurors.
Is it only for jurors? That's my,
Right.
On
That's
this
only
side,
for
it's only
jurors.
for jurors. On the north side, it's no cell phone.
Period.
I think it needs to be no cell phones, period, across if this is gonna be a problem, and how many people are gonna file suit looking to get whatever they're getting out
And
of
you're
it.
not gonna have my phone ringing during the meeting.
That's just a safety thing with the jail back there. I mean, she's
Right.
riding around and looking in windows and putting it on
No,
my
right.
YouTube channel,
Well,
that it's okay to do that because.
I think we've got it in the right place to get that handled. So, anything else from the floor? This is your opportunity to give the county board some opinions, directions, some inside information on what's going on in your department. I know our numbers are slim now because of the restrictions, but I still think this is a very helpful and constructive committee. We get a lot of good input back to let us know what's right and wrong. So I'm hopeful that we're still meeting our COVID responsibilities as far as protecting our employees. And if not, please report it to somebody. If you're not bringing it here, bring it to somebody. Here, as I sit with my mask on. But we need to be conscious of what's going on. Karen?
Was it on the radio that they were maybe making some changes to COVID days being off? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, the CDC come out and said, 10 days rather than 14, and then 7
Rather
with
than
a
10.
negative test or something. Right?
Yeah, but according to IDPH, the Illinois Department of Public Health, they're not following CDC guidelines of going with 14 days. So,
And they're also recommending that our kids go back to school. CDC and Dr. Fauci. So,
January 11th. That's what they come out and said yesterday, or the day before. Bravo Elementary.
so anybody here is in a position that you may have to automatically get the vaccine when it becomes available? Do we have any house workers here?
Over 65.
You'll be given the opportunity. But I'm talking about some may be mandated to take the vaccine, just like some are mandated to take the flu shot. So it
Are
probably
you guys
be most
mandated
of our
flu?
health
No?
department. The jail, I don't think you have any
We're not
mandate.
mandated, we're under the,
Right.
DOC?
So
well, no, we're.
you guys aren't either, are you,
the
Fred?
hepatitis and all that
Sorry?
stuff.
You're not mandated to take it?
No, no.
Okay. All right.
Smart aleck, you remark, politician is not necessary, period. God bless you guys for putting up with us.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll look.
We got winter weather.
Oh, yes,
The safety
Sorry.
topic of the month.
safety topic, yes, and it may be coming, whether we want it or not.
Too, sorry.
Sorry, Jim.
Important issue too.
This is a really big issue for everyone throughout the year. But if you can take this and pass it along to your people, discuss with them leaving. You know, the big thing that I see in reviewing claims throughout, all my areas of responsibility is entryways, and not being assaulted or walkways. And I had one interesting one where they laid down a rug on the inside after assaulting, and then laid down a second rug because that got wet during the day on top of it, and that caused somebody to trip. So, just pay attention to the doorways and stuff, and if you have a problem, get a hold of somebody real quick. Really, other than see something, say something, or, and don't wait for somebody else to do it. So hopefully we can avoid issues like that, because slips and falls are some of the worst accidents for people.
Along with that, Jim, every entrance should have a touch of salt and a scoop, and, so if you see that it's icy, just take the 2 minutes it's gonna take to go get a scoop and spread it, so that we don't have to sit there and wait for maintenance to come over and do it. Let's just do it ourselves and get done with it.
Everybody's got a chip in.
So would you please tell Bob that I'm sticking up for him?
Okay.
Instead of sticking it to
Something
him.
like that.
That's all I have. I don't know that anybody else does, right?
Okay, next meeting is Thursday, January 7th, 30.
Yeah.
At that time.
I understand.
So if there's nothing else to bring before the committee, I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Mr. Traeger, second. Mr.
Dave?
John, Dave. I'm all discombobulated today. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Be safe. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you before.